Yes, ma'am.
And move that we approve the March 23rd, 2026 special meeting of the Woodford County Board of Education meeting.
It's the 25th.
25th.
25th, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
All right. It has been moved by Ms. Powell and seconded by Dr. Fitch that we approve the agenda for the March 25th, 2026 Board of Education meeting. Is there any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. From this point forward, we're going to go into a roll call. I'm sorry about that. And I also need to just remind the public that this meeting is being live streamed through the Wilkes County Schools YouTube channel. The public can go to YouTube to find the video or go to Wilkes County Schools Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages and the Wilkes County Schools website for the YouTube link. Next up, we have the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence, and I'll leave that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Moving down the agenda. Do I hear a motion? Yes, sir.
I move that the Wilkes County Board of Education go to closed session to consider confidential personnel matters as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318, decimal 11, A1 and 6, and 115C-319 through 321. To consider confidential student matters as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318, 11, A1, and North Carolina General Statute 115C-42, and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act 20 U.S.C. 1232G, and to consult with the Board of Education attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3.
Second.
All right. It has been moved that the Wilkes County Board of Education go into closed session to consider confidential personnel matters as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and 6 and 115C-319 through 321 to consider confidential student matters as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and North Carolina General Statute 115C-402 and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act 20 U.S.C. 1232G, and to consult with the Board of Education attorney to consult with the Board of Education attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3. So we're going to, is there any discussion? All right, we're going to do this based on roll call. Mr. Kyle?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Dr. Fitch?
Aye.
All right, so the motion carries unanimously. We're going to move. Oh, Ms. Powell, I'm sorry. That's the whole reason we were doing it. I'm sorry.
I thought so. With his eye.
All right, so the motion carries unanimously, and we're going to move into closed session. Williams. So first off is going to be contracts requiring board notification with instructional services. So Ms. May.
Yes. Good afternoon. So we have one contract for notification this afternoon. It is for ANC Group for cabling projects at Elm City Middle and Fike and Hunt High Schools for a total of $77,831.98. And this project is to be completed with E-rate funding.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any questions on this? All right, moving forward, we have contracts requiring board notification with administrative services. So Dr. Williams?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have two contracts for notification. The first contract is Anderson, Smith, and White, PLLC. This is our audit contract for 26-27. They've been conducting our audit fiscal year, every fiscal year. That is not to exceed $50,000. And we have another contract for notification with All Red Mechanical Services for the IT library replacement units and HVAC proposal for Jones Elementary School. That's the HVAC units that control our data room at Jones Elementary School. And that is for $77,200.
All right, board members, have we got any questions on this? All right, well, then we're going to move into action items. And first up, we have contracts requiring board approval with instructional services. So Ms. May.
Okay, so this contract is also with ANC Group, also utilizing E-rate funding. It is for the replacement of 73 network switches across the district for a total amount of $394,364.04.
All right, board members, any questions? Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Dr. Fitch.
I move that we approve the contract with ANC Group to replace network switches across the district in the amount of $394,364.04. Second.
All right, the motion has been made by Dr. Fitch, seconded by Ms. Boyette, Ms. Powell, and Mr. Breen, I believe. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion? Oh, I'm sorry, the motion has been made for ANC Group to replace, for the replacement of network switches across the district in the amount of $394,364.04. So, all in favor of the motion, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Next up, we have contracts for approval with administrative services. So Dr. Williams.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, our first contract for approval is All Red Mechanical Services for the purchase and installation of a new carrier 70-ton chiller at Gardner's Elementary School in the amount of $120,640.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Breen.
I move that we approve the contract with All Red Mechanical Services to purchase and install a new carrier 70-ton chiller at Gardner's Elementary School in the amount of $120,640.
Second.
All right, it has been moved that we approved a contract with All Red Mechanical Services for the purchase and installation of a new carrier or 70-ton chiller at Gardner's Elementary School in the amount of $120,640 by Mr. Breen and seconded by Dr. Fitch and Mr. Batts. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Chair, our second contract for approval is with Southern Bleacher Company. This is for the purchase and installation of the visitor side bleachers at Fike High School Football Stadium in the amount of $340,600.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Breen.
I move that we approve the contract with Southern Bleacher Company for the purchase and installation of visitor bleachers at the Fike High School Football Stadium in the amount of $340,600.
All right. It's been moved by Mr. Breen, seconded by Ms. Boyette, that we approved a contract with Southern Bleacher Company for the purchase and installation of visitor bleachers at the Fike High School football stadium in the amount of $340,600. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Dr. Williams.
And Mr. Chair, our third and final contract for approval is with J.P. Weaver Incorporated. And this contract is for general contracting services to include permits, site work, concrete, in preparation for the installation of the visitor bleachers at Fike High School football stadium in the amount of $114,200.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Brown.
I move we approve the contract with J.P. Weaver Incorporated for general contracting services to include permits, site work, and concrete in preparation for the installation of visitor bleachers at Fike High School football stadium in the amount of $114,200.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Mr. Breen, seconded by Mr. Batts and Dr. Fitch, that we approved a contract with J.P. Weaver for general contracting services to include permits, site work, and concrete in the preparation for installation of visitor bleachers at Fike High School football stadium in the amount of $114,200. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I would like to add that I look forward very much to sitting on these big bleachers.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Next up, we have Lucama Elementary School classroom renovation with Dr. Williams.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the Lucama Elementary School classroom renovation, the administration has asked for permission from the board to remove a sheetrock wall in one classroom of Lucama Elementary School. The request is being made in order to provide some additional full-size classroom space at Lucama Elementary School. The sheetrock wall is what would appear to be, it's a non-load bearing wall that was placed in that classroom to separate a full-size classroom some years back. And we would like permission to be able to take that wall out and open it up and have another full-size classroom at Lucama Elementary School. I did provide a handout with a diagram at your seat as well.
So that wall that comes down, was that into a closet or something? What?
Yes, ma'am. If you were to go into a regular-sized classroom or a regular classroom in the school, and essentially a wall was just constructed with sheetrock through the middle of it. Divides it into two small rooms, and sometimes those small rooms are used for itinerant staff or pull-out situations. But by removing the wall, it just opens up the already full-size
So
classroom.
there's no insulation or soundboards or anything else that has to come, just that one piece of sheetrock?
Just as it's a sheetrock wall, so it's on
A wall,
both
right,
sides.
okay.
It could require, if there was some wiring put inside, or it's gonna be very low on the mechanical side. They wouldn't run any mechanical in there. Could be some wiring or data in there, but our engineers that have done the facility condition assessment at Dewberry, they'll be happy to give us a full report on it before we do anything with it.
Mr. Chair,
Okay, go
are there
ahead.
additional questions?
No, I was just gonna comment, I believe that it was listed on the plans for the facility as a removable wall, if it was. So in other words, when they put it in,
It
it was
was
designated
removable.
as a removable wall.
All right. Mr. Breen?
Mr. Chair, I move that we tear down that wall. I move that we grant administration permission to remove a sheetrock wall in one classroom at Lucama Elementary School.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Mr. Breen, seconded by Mr. Batts and Dr. Fitch, that we grant permission to administration to remove the wall. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Let's see, next up, we are request for proposal at Rock Ridge Elementary School roof repair / replacement. Dr. Williams.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. We are in need of some roof repairs and replacements at Rock Ridge Elementary School. We've utilized our facility condition assessment and also Greg and Darrell Woodard in regards to knowledge of what we need to do on the roof over at Rock Ridge Elementary School. We are asking permission from the board to submit an RFP for that roof project and to utilize our public school building renovation repair funds for the funding of that project.
All right, board members, any questions?
Is that roof is 26 years old?
The flat part, the flat part of the roof is the part we need to replace.
But is 26 years a
That's right.
lifetime on that, or the expected time on that roof?
I'll go back and look at the facility condition report to see when they had use of life on it. But we can check that. I'm not 100% sure.
In other words, you know, I know when the school opened,
Yes, ma'am.
so I know that it was new then, and
Yep.
26 years, we wouldn't get any money back from the roofer as a warranty.
Yes, ma'am. We'll be sure to check all warranties and anything that was applicable to that particular roof. But at this time, Mr. Woodard, Greg or Darrell, they've not indicated, or we haven't had that conversation that there was any warranties left on that roof. But before we replace anything, I mean, we'll make sure to check to see if there's warranty left on the roof that was put in.
Okay, because you understand, I mean, 26 years, is that the normal? I don't know, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
anticipated that the lifespan for a roof, a new roof on a building would be longer than 26 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Did I hear you say that's the flat portion of the roof?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we going to make it stay flat, or are we going to,
Put a pitch on it.
thank you, put a pitch on that roof, so as to not be flat, continue to be flat?
I would defer to our engineers to find out what we would need to do that. I know the front part has pitch to the roof, and then the back part is flat. Our initial decision to bring this to the board for approval was, there's a lot of leaks in that roof. And if that helps to alleviate the leaks that we've been having in the roof, along with the new roof portion of it, we would certainly explore that, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and if we have still a warranty with the roof and with the repair funds from the state, and I know that that's awarded on a yearly basis, are we at only a one-year amount in that fund, or we have added cushion?
We do. We have the amount for our 24, 25, and 25, 26.
So we have 2 years
We
worth
have
of.
$1 million available, yes, ma'am.
All right.
I would say that probably with the lifespan of the roof, it probably depends on the material used.
Depends on the what?
On the material
The
used.
materials.
Is there any further discussion on this?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Brown?
I move that we grant permission to administration to submit a request for proposal for the design and construction of roof repairs and replacement of a portion of the roof at Rock Ridge Elementary School.
All right, it has been moved by Mr. Breen, seconded by Ms. Powell and Mr. Batts, that we approve the request for proposal for Rock Ridge Elementary School roof repair and replacement. Is there any discussion on this? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Next up is selection process for design build service firm for the new Wells Hearn Elementary School. Dr. Williams.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Wilson County Schools has received submissions for the previously posted RFQ request for qualifications from the construction of the new Wells Elementary School, Wells Hearn Elementary School. The administration is requesting that the board determine the design build teams to interview, a date and time to conduct the interview, and if the board would like to provide questions for me to send to the selected interviewees in preparation for the interviews.
All right.
So from the 9, I believe it was, that we received, are we going to today narrow down the listing, or are we going to move forward with all of these?
So I would think that ideally, if we could narrow it down some, that would be good, so that we could go ahead and set up a date.
Does anybody have that RFQ list?
Right here, I'll share it with you.
Thank
It did not say to bring the giant bundle of books with us tonight.
Yes, yes, you
It
did.
said bring personnel matters, not the giant bundle of books.
He's got it now, and that,
All right.
those are the ones with the checks are.
Does anybody need a copy?
Yeah, yeah, 'cause
Yes,
I get
please, 'cause I don't
got
wanna
low
mark
in
up.
mine.
I've got 2 copies.
Oh, not all that, just the short list. I just need a list of 9, you know.
I had a question in regard to Height Associates, JMT Thompson. The contractor license is expiring on December of this year. What guarantee do we have of renewal, as we'll just be at the beginning stage of construction?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I haven't spoken to any of the companies.
Oh, okay.
No, ma'am.
I can tell you that I know that all general contracting licenses expire in December.
Oh,
And if they were to lose their license, they'd lose their contract.
okay.
Because I've got to redo mine every year.
So this is done every year, so all of our submissions require a renewal of their license by the end of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because I didn't make that note with all of the others, and I'm going, wait a minute, they don't have a license, how can they do this? All right.
Dr. Fitch,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, just to address Dr. Fitch's specific point, it's in the RFP that they have to remain licensed in order to continue the project. So that's one of the requirements.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Vereen?
it would be my preference if we could narrow down this list of 9 to 3 or 4, and then select our date.
Okay. Do you have any in mind?
The ones that jump off the page at me after reviewing the RFQs would be J.M. Thompson, T.A. Loving, and Barnhill, Oakley Collier Architects.
Okay, so you said T.A. Lovin, Barnhill, and who?
And J.M.
And
Thompson.
J.M. Thompson.
J.M. Thompson.
Those are the 3 that jump off the page to me.
That you
or
want to-
That I would like to move forward with.
Oh, move forward with, I thought you were saying eliminate.
No,
Oh,
no, 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 no,
okay.
no, no, no. Some of these, when I went and checked on their bona fides, did not seem to actually exist, or I could not find a record of them operating in the state. I won't talk about them here, because I could be wrong, but that gave me immediate pause on some of these.
All right. Board members, anybody else got any preferences?
Preferences to keep. I liked Barnhill. I liked consiglio ratio. And there was one other, I'll find it in a minute. I didn't go about it the way you did, so I made notes.
Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
unlike TA Loving, CPL, and Barnhill, Oakley Collier, to be considered, to be interviewed.
So Barnhill, T.A. Loving, and who was the last one?
Well, those are the only two
Oh,
I
the
said.
only two?
I had a
Okay.
check by Bobbitt as well, but they were.
All right, so we've got 4 at the moment. If nobody else has a preference, I'll entertain a motion on the 4.
Well, I mean, I think technically we have 5.
Is it 5?
Why is technically 5?
Okay, well, if we've got a check by Bobbitt and a check by Consiglio,
Okay,
then
so,
that brings us up to 5.
so did you want to add Bobbitt?
No, leave Bobbitt.
Did you want to add Bobbitt, Mr. Broom?
I'm okay with what everybody else says. Sorry, I'm diverting attention. Mr. Batts, can I borrow your Consiglio?
No problem.
Oh, okay. Now I know I had questions.
Can you share with us why you had questions?
They're out of state, and I had, not that it's a requirement, but my issue was that not only could I couldn't find them on the North Carolina Secretary of State website, nor could I find, a certificate of authority or anything like that stating that they'd done business in the state before. But again, that's not necessarily a requirement. It just gave me pause for
I was gonna say, I
concern.
didn't think that was part of the requirement of the RFP. Was it?
It's not. But I mean, it's sort of the same thing with Ratio USA. I see that the principal has a 919 area code, but I don't see them as being a North Carolina company.
Well, right now, I'm hearing 4.
Thompson, Barnhill, Loving, and Consiglio. You got 2 extra for Barnhill, Loving.
Are we gonna do these as separate motions, or are we gonna
Probably just put them all together.
make one mega motion?
Yes.
Okay. Is it, so I would just pose to the group, not that I'm the boss of this, but,
Yeah.
is this a sufficient list? Do you all feel like, does everybody have groups that are adequately represented?
And what was the list again?
Consiglio, J.M. Thompson, T.A. Lovin, and Barnhill.
Not McLovin.
Yeah, I said Lovin, and I felt like I put a little stank on
No,
it.
that's
I already
not
felt,
McLovin.
I already felt a little bad about that.
Not McLovin.
Which would mean that the next thing we need to do is decide on a date.
We didn't move the motion yet. We didn't
Yeah, we had-
We're gonna make it one big mega motion,
do.
or is that too
Well, now,
steep?
the date, we can come up with now, or we can come up with later. I mean, we don't have to have that right this second.
Can we first just take the motion of the firms that we want, and then we can look at, pull our calendars and look at dates.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Burton.
I move that we move forward with interviews for the RFQ for the Wells Hearn project with Consiglio Ratio, J.M. Thompson Company, Height Associates, T.A. Loving CPL, and Barnhill Oakley Collier Architects.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Mr. Breen and seconded by Dr. Fitch that we move forward with the RFQ process with Consiglio Ratio, J.M. Thompson Company and Height Associates, T.A. Loving and CPL, and Barnhill Oakley Collier Architects. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. But you are a little bit the boss of it because you are Administrative Services Chair.
Well, but not in the context of this meeting. I'm not giving report or anything.
All right, so do we want to look at dates now? Dr. Williams, do you have a date that would be preferable for administration?
Looking at our calendar, next week we have a short week and we begin our spring break on Good Friday next week. Then we have spring break the week of the 6th, which puts us coming back the week of the 13th. So if we do not want to take a look at next week on the short week before spring break, it would be the week of the 13th.
I'd be amenable to the week of the 13th, and then we can hopefully we can move forward with whatever we need to move forward with.
That'll give them time to prepare to.
20th.
21st. So
The 20th, April 20th.
Can we just do it before the April board meeting? Do a bunch of burns and installs?
Well,
Well-
when you have all of your committees and the process of interviews for these companies, even though that could be as part of administrative services, that's gonna be a long,
That would be a very long.
That makes
day.
a long
So
day
they have
long.
scheduled for like,
That's when they submitted the RFQ.
Is anybody,
I don't figure it out.
is anybody free on the 16th,
That's a Thursday.
Thursday?
That's Special Olympics. That's
Okay.
at high school, it's from 10 to 1,
From 10 to 1?
Special Olympics.
how much time are we giving them for interviews?
Our last set of interviews that we did for architects, we did a
30-minute?
30-minute and then 15-minute for questions at the end.
So about 45
Yes,
minutes
ma'am.
per.
Mhm.
We could start at 2.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We could start at 2 and
On the 16th?
on the
On the
16th.
16th.
Works for me.
All right. So you're good with it, Dr. Fitch is good with it, I am. Ms. Boyette's good with it. Ms. Powell,
Yes, that's
Mr. Kyle? All right. Mr. Batts?
Yes, sir.
All right, so aim for the 16th at 2 for the RFP hearings.
All right, and is there a time where, that doesn't require a vote, does it? The setting of the date?
No, you have to notice it.
Okay, and is there a date in which administration would like to have questions sent to them by?
Yes, sir. If we can establish that, I will, let's look at our calendar. We're going on the 16th. Would the board like for the questions to be submitted to be addressed at the presentations so that they are addressing the questions, or for the questions to be prepared for the board to ask each individual team that comes in? And the reason I ask is that if I have the questions that the board wants to make sure gets answered prior to setting the invitations for the companies coming in, they will be on notice that these are the questions you need to make sure you address in your presentations.
I would rather give them that.
Okay,
and-
you already gave us a set of questions for consideration.
Yes, ma'am. Those were just questions that you could review that I had worked on with, some questions that we had had in the past and some that I had gotten some legal advice on some things we need to make sure we ask. And those are just potential questions that you can look at.
I'll be happy to give you my questions that I have
Yes.
at the end of this, because I had already indicated on your interview sheet, a couple questions that I had.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Absolutely.
you can get mine today.
Mr. Breen, I could set a date for, I can get those that are ready today. Be glad to take those up and have those prepared. And I could set a date, Mr. Breen, for, is,
How about
say-
a good Thursday?
Thursday of next week.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is that amenable to everybody?
Yeah, that sounds
If you've got
fine.
additional questions, give them to Dr. Williams by, happy Thursday, what Thursday is it?
Next Thursday.
I know it's next Thursday, but it's got a name.
Monday.
Monday.
Monday, Thursday.
Monday, Thursday.
Just wondering, is there any way to reuse plans? Like, we have Frederick Douglass, if we were to build multiple schools that same way, would that save us money?
The design, that's something that I would ask the design build team as they come in to do their interviews, is if the opportunity exists to be able to use any existing plans that we have.
If we like that one, then we could stamp them in, if it saves,
Yeah, the
Well,
only,
that
di-
would
if it saves any money, it'd be,
well, the only difference is it would have to be modified to be bigger because Frederick Douglass is gonna be a smaller school. But yes, I mean, yeah, if you can use the same floor plan, that saves a lot of time.
Well, that was part of the question that we asked when we relet the Frederick Douglass site anyway, so that's a reasonable question to ask.
Yeah, and that's you can ask them to look at our existing portfolio of schools and, do you think any of these existing plans would be functional on this site for this, the scope of this project?
because do we own the rights to those plans, or?
We sure do.
We do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we have them.
No. But if you
And
get,
I'm sorry, for example, the Frederick Douglass Elementary School is a small modification of the Jones Elementary School plan.
But like right now, we're just at the qualification stage, so, once we determine one, then we can really start getting into what they can do.
So to be able to ask them that question is very reasonable.
or if they've done that before.
All right, so I think we're in good shape on this. Is there any more discussion around this? All right, well then we are going to move forward to the 2025-2026 budget amendments.
Good afternoon, board members. I have two budget amendments for board approval. The first one is the State Public Expense Fund. There was an increase in revenues of $349,861. And listed in your board packet is a breakdown by PRC of the increase in revenue for the state. The local special revenue fund, there was also an increase in revenue of $29,284. And there is a breakdown by PRC also listed for information. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Green?
I move that we approve the budget amendments as recommended by administration.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Mr. Breen, seconded by Dr. Fitch, that we approve the budget amendments as recommended by administration. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Next on our agenda, we have 2026-2027 local current expense and capital outlay budgets.
Board members are passing out a handout, and on the screen is the presentation for the proposed budget. Ms. Collins and senior staff and I have been looking at information that's come out, and it's limited, so we can share with you what we anticipate and some basic information from last year and what we anticipate for next year. So So what we've got is the operating budget and the capital budget, some challenges, which is an understatement, and the nitty-gritty details.
Okay, so when we're talking about our budget, we're talking, and looking at it at a glance, there are two components to that budget. There's operating costs and your capital outlay, and that is what equals your total local budget. Funding sources. We have state and federal funding sources. We have position and dollar allotments. We have federal grants. We have Medicaid funding. We have ROTC funding. From the local standpoint, our funding strictly comes from the county. It's through county appropriations. And then we have a very small amount of fines and forfeitures funding. That's usually around $250,000 to $300,000 a year. And then we have an investment account, which is our savings account. Budget challenges. So we have, this year, of course, we still have no state budget. That is a major impact to the school system. The federal funding, no budget whatsoever. Charter schools is always a given. We do have to remit a portion of our funding based on ADM to the charter schools. Classified salary schedule adjustments and operating costs are other items that we want to address and talk about today as well.
As Ms. Collins mentioned, the biggest impact of the state and even a little bit of the federal is that there was no real budget this year, so we're currently operating on continuation budget. And so what that means is we've had to, other than step increases or some PRC codes, the cost of living increases were passed on to school districts, when that drives most of our budget anyway, because we're a people-driven business, and so it had a huge impact on the school systems across the state. So we've carried that all year and kept us safe, but that also means going into next year, it's concerning because unlike previous years, every meeting Ms. Collins goes to, I always say, so what'd they say about next year for hospitalization and retirement? And what are they saying? And usually by now, she can tell us, oh, well, they're anticipating this or that. And her answer is nothing this year. That's right. So we don't know what we're going to get. So what you see on the screen is our best guesstimates for hospitalization and increase in rates for retirement. Those are just our guesstimates based on what we've seen over the last little bit. But you can see the progression over time, and that's per employee. And then you can see also above what the state is anticipating our loss will be for ADM. We don't know that to be the case. We've seen our numbers be kind of stable, but we have no information about any salary increases for any employees from the state. But if we were to lose what they anticipate for ADM, that would be around $2 million estimate.
So on this slide, this is the potential reduction of our state funding, and this is, again, this is based on the loss of 228 students. But when you break it down, this is what it looks like by program code. And one of the big things on this screen to note is the low wealth, $1.3 million. That covers quite a few salaries. That covers our some of our custodial salaries. That covers data managers. So that's salary driven. And another thing to note with these reductions, that our state and federal funding gaps equals our local responsibility. It's the responsibility of local funding to pick up the gaps. That's your $2 million breakdown.
And frankly, what we're hearing is we don't know what to anticipate with federal funds. And also, Ms. Collins and I were talking today, and she brought up a really important point, which is there's not going to be as much carryover with federal funds this coming year as there has been in the past, which is funds we can use until the new funds drop, which means it's gonna be tighter. And also it's gonna affect what you can do with your existing budget when it comes in. So it's gonna be tight, extremely tight. So we don't know. We don't know, and what we're getting looks, very, I wouldn't say concerning, but we're gonna have to make sure that we account for everything, and we're in a good position to start from. But it would be very nice to know some of the indicators for the cost of living pieces and what we could anticipate in other areas, but we just don't have that information yet. And it's getting late to anticipate and set up a budget, which we're doing that now with the school system and the board's budget. And so we're making our best estimate, but these are just estimates. But, so we have to plan for what may be, even more so than usual. But I think the federal planning allotments and the carryover impact is going to have an impact on school systems across the state, and we need to be cognizant of that as we go into it. So I think there's going to be a double whammy if systems don't plan for that.
Question. Since the state has not given us a budget this year so far, and the school year is almost over, but yet we have to keep making payments for everything. Does that come out of our fund balance? Does that come against a draw against the state? How does that actually operate, please?
Ms. Collins was talking about
So-
that today, too, so.
So Dr. Fitch, we're running on a continuation budget from last year. So that is primarily how we're operating at the moment.
So money
No,
from the state at the same level of funding from last year?
Yes,
right.
ma'am, that's correct.
So we're not out of pocket for all of those dollars that that are being spent because there's no new state budget.
That is correct. We're
Okay.
running off last year's numbers.
Okay.
But for the increases in the cost of living kinds of indicators, which drive a lot of our budget, there was no adjustment for that. So those tweaks have to come from somewhere, and they come out of local.
That is correct also.
So we have to balance that out somewhere.
So at any point, when you say you have to balance it against and it comes out of local, does that come out of our fund balance or does that come out against from what the county commissioners give us?
It could come out of any number of sources. We just have to balance it out. But it's going to come out of either local or which is county appropriation. Fund balance we put in the budget to have it in there in case we have a catastrophic event or we need to balance the budget so we don't have to go and appropriate it later. And if not, that rolls back in. It just depends.
So if we end up taking money out of our fund balance or from what gets advanced, let's say from county commissioners, once the state has a budget and pays us the money, we can then make shifts to put back into our coffers, or that's money that's just
It's still going to
gone by the
sunset.
wayside?
It's still going to
So
sunset.
so our state funding, the cycle for state funding is July to June.
Right.
So, no, ma'am, we don't get reimbursed from the state for any local dollars that we spend. So we're running on that continuation budget, and that is the amounts that they give us, that is the amounts that we have to work with. And then the rest comes from our local funds, our current expense fund, our savings fund, we make it work. We just have to figure out how to make it work,
But it's
essentially.
never a payback because of
No,
their
ma'am.
failure to provide us whatever that increase was or level of funding that it should have been.
That is correct.
It's just lost revenue to us.
Yes.
Dr. Mills?
Yes, ma'am.
Last Thursday and Friday, I think several of us attended the spring North Carolina School Boards Association Conference Legislative Update. And of great concern to me and county commissioners across the state who have already called emergency meetings is the bill being considered now that the legislature would take over regulating the sales tax in each county.
Yep, I'm trying to
And if
discuss
that
it.
is done, then that is has the potential for being very
Catastrophic.
unpredictable, catastrophic would be because up till now, each county decided, so our local budget has been predictable for all of these years. But if that were to pass, it could impact so that our local budget, they can't give away money that they don't have, and they,
It's
so.
significant. I've had, I have monthly meetings with the county manager, Ron Hunt, and he's talked with me and with Dr. Woods at the community college, and that's an impact that we've already talked about. One is the sales tax. You also saw some things in the news about property taxes that the legislature was looking at doing as well, but the sales tax piece would have a significant impact on the county funding and affects the county's budget, which would certainly trickle down to us, because I know that's some ways they've helped us with certain projects and certainly our funding. So we've already had that conversation as we plan, and I know things will be tight. We're already at a deficit in a sense of going into the year because we didn't get a budget, so we've had to kind of maintain. And unfortunately, we've lived within our means to not have locally paid positions in teaching slots like some systems have had, and are not in a deficit model coming out of ESSER like some folks were that are still recovering from that. So we've been able to weather it, but several years of this and no one's going to weather it. I mean, that's just the way it is. So all these things coming together at once, it makes it very difficult to balance a budget and to anticipate what to do in the future, because you can't plan. You can't plan when you don't know what streams are going to come and be regular, like the federal carryover funds. That's going to have a big impact on some things we do as well. All those pots of money and fundings have strings attached to them where they can be used. So it's not as easy as your personal checkbook to be able to move things from this account to that account. They're tied to specific sources and allowances of what we can do. So we can't always balance where we need the money to move. So you have to plan ahead to do that. So that's why it's important to know early on what you have and what's coming so you can make those allowances. So it's very challenging. And so far we've been able to get through. We talk about it at senior staff. We talk about it in our departmental meetings with the principals. We have a finance officer that sits in our meetings and does this, but it is ongoing. It's not something you just do once or twice a year, but it's getting tighter and tighter to make sure that we stay ahead of it. But all those things I think would have a huge impact for us. And I know that Mr. Hunt and I talk regularly about the impacts.
And from just one more thing, I think that legislators that have been county commissioners understand that is the only income the counties have, so that is how they can be predictable. If that becomes
It would hurt us.
manipulated, then,
It would hurt us tremendously. There's several things that would hurt us tremendously. That is one of them.
Sales tax also impacts low wealth. That's part of the formula for low wealth. So you can see that number
Low wealth is a
potentially
very
rise.
flexible code for us. It allows us to do a
It is.
lot of different things.
You can pay a lot of state salaries out of low wealth funds. Okay.
and whereas we're looking at Wake County, as we talked about earlier, and their cuts, and we certainly would not want to have to consider things
no.
like that. Once again, you can't spend money that you don't
Their sales tax is
have.
probably a little bit different too, yeah. So one thing we have been working on in senior staff and as a district is to adjust our classified salary schedules. And the folks at that table have worked extremely hard to adjust those. And so looking at how we can apply those new schedules, that is an expense, but it is a recurring expense. And you need to understand that would have a budgetary impact from then on. And there's no doing it once and stopping. So, and it would have a significant impact, however, it is needed. It is affecting recruiting, retention, it's affecting people's decisions to stay, invest in being a part of our family, but also, you know, it's time for us to do this. This was something that's been in place for a while. So we've looked at how to do it, and we're gonna need assistance. We can do the addition to make this change, and I caution the board to understand, if we do this, fund balance could be used to address this need 1 year, but that's the short term only, and I'm very cautious about doing that, or recommending that, or even having that discussion. But we're gonna need some help from somewhere. If we put this in place, it's got to continue, because this is salaries and people are depending on it. But we cannot keep employees unless we adjust these salary schedules, especially with the market being as it is and the cost of living as it is right now, and we need to do this. But that means we either have additional funds from somewhere, or we make cuts somewhere. And we may start making cuts somewhere, it's gonna be a continuous process to do that over time. So that doesn't mean we're cutting positions elsewhere. It just means we're gonna have to cut some of the things we do somewhere over a period of time to offset that. But this is not a one and done, or a simple drop a piece in and you match it somewhere else. But we've looked at this, we've looked at phasing it in, doing a portion, and that just doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense for employees, doesn't make sense for the school system of when and how you do it. So that's something the board needs to consider in its budget. We put it in here because you need to understand it and need to know that that is a hole in the district that we need to talk about and do. And we can start, but once we start, we have to continue. So it's needed.
So basically, we will be requesting this from the county commission.
It's in our budget. It's in our budget as part of our local request. But if the funds, which there's, you know, each year we request and we try and balance it with other things, but I still think it's something we need to do, even if not. But without the funds, we're going to have to find a way to offset that if that's what we do with the salary schedules. That's still a decision point that could be made at a later date, but once you start that, we've got to continue to compensate for that in our budget somehow, some way.
Well, I think that we need to ask for it, and if they say no, then we have to then go back and see if we take it from there. But if we don't ask for it, it won't just magically appear.
And you have the funds available to make that start now, but I caution the board to understand that is a short-term strategy to allow you to get started. And it affects things down the line, because your ability to weather events or unknowns, and we've seen unknowns that we've never would have anticipated, not having a budget for an entire year. You know, things like COVID popping up, or, you know, all kinds of issues can happen. But you don't rely on fund balance to cover your budget. That's a no-no. But this is how we could get it started.
That's why I'm saying we ask for it.
Mm-hmm. But I think we owe it to our employees and to our district to start this. I think we need to get started.
But I would add there that the budget that we present, we have line items to verify the need or in the expense, but they do not approve a line item.
they
They
don't.
approve
They
a
approve a total
total
amount.
budget,
Yes.
and it comes back to us
Yes.
to then decide
And
what
I-
items we will keep.
And I think the board's decisions about other items in your operating expenses or discussions you're gonna have to have as you progress forward. And what balances this out is going to have to be a discussion point. All those are things we've already discussed at senior staff and are correct.
Okay, charter school appropriation, most of you are aware that every year we have to distribute a portion of our local funding based on ADM, the number of kids that are in charter schools. As you can see, over the last couple of years, that has progressively increased. To date, we have 2,027 students that are in charter schools, and we have 22 charter schools that we remit to monthly.
So the number that we get from the county appropriation, you can draw $4 million off that number right off the top. So when we start talking about, as Ms. Boyette was saying, when you start, it's not line item, it's a global number, just back that number down by over $4 million when we start planning. That's what we have to do each year. That's the impact.
Comes right off the top
Right off the top.
before we even budget the rest of our appropriation.
How far are these students going?
Anywhere.
To be part of 22 charter, because all of the charters don't have virtual
Doesn't matter.
attendance zone, so do we have, I know that there are some that have the virtual, but
If they're
are
domiciled
these
here.
children traveling all the way to East Timbuktu to get to these charter schools?
They're
How
all-
far are they?
They're all over.
And they
I
are
mean,
popping
we
up.
have them all over the state.
And they're verified and we have a process
We
we
do.
go through.
We do. So each month, the process for that is they submit to me each month their invoice and list of student names. And those names are sent to, those names are sent to transportation. And we do verify that those children are are eligible for that portion of money. So we take that, we check those off every month and make sure before we remit those funds to those charter schools. And if there are names on that list that are not supposed to be, we do not pay it. We have them adjusted.
It just amazes me, that's 22. Okay.
Then we have increased operating cost. Our operating costs are increasing due to expenditures that we have for contracted services and repairs. Facility service needs are increasing, as you can see, from 23-24 to 24-25, there was a 39.8% increase. And that is due to several things. It's due mainly to the increase in services and repairs. And Dr. Williams, you might want to talk a little bit about repairs, because we've had to, the board heard some of the expenses today, actually, for HVAC and, or the chillers that we're having to replace. But I'll let you address that if you would like to comment on that.
Certainly, that encompasses just the general cost of doing boilers, chillers, HVAC repair, electrical work, the parts, labor with a lot of these repairs. Also, within our facility services department, we don't have the number of people to be able to address certain repairs that need to be made, which requires them to have to contract that repair out. So again, just an increased cost on daily maintenance and repairs of things as they begin to break and we begin to repair them. And again, utilizing some of the contracting stuff as well on most of our skilled sides of the house and labor. And we do have fantastic staff, but we have low numbers of them. So 2 to 3 electricians, 2 to 3 plumbers, and as we're going through and making our repairs and doing the things that we need to do at our schools. If we have to have a replacement, then, that's not an option. We've got to get the replacement done so we can operate schools properly.
We, like everybody else, are being hit with the high cost of diesel for our buses, with seemingly no end in sight. And we see on the news that other systems are moving money to cover the cost of how are we fixed for the remainder of the year, and how does that impact what you have already projected for next year, if the costs stay as high as they are for fuel?
Yes, ma'am, and Ms. Collins, feel free to address as well, but our 056 budget is in pretty good shape. We have projected for the remainder of the year our operational cost within the transportation budget, which is 056. At the moment, we are projected to be able to finish out the year and meet those costs. But, has these costs increased, not just with transportation, with buses, but, we do run fuel oil to certain schools, for some heating purposes. So we do have that. We have our maintenance vehicles that we have to operate, maintain, and keep fixed as well. So it certainly stretches and reaches, to all departments, all areas.
And when working on the budget and looking at numbers and what to budget, I do look at several years, not just a current year. I try to look back and try to project as best as possible what we might need and plan for that ahead of time. There was a 15% from 23, 24, 24, 25 in utilities. There was a 15% increase there as well. The other area to note, and Dr. Robin May, Mrs. May might want to talk about federal programs a little bit, but there is an increasing cost in our exceptional children's services. That's not just Wilson County Schools. That's across the state as well. So.
Yeah, and most of that impact is contracted services for EC and that reduction in the carryover funding that we are seeing year to year due to that increased cost with contracted employees.
Okay.
So in terms of the budget details, you can see what our request would be. We put a request from last year and then the appropriation. Kind of show you the pattern. And then finally, we have a little bit of budget details. Again, this is just a holding pattern. It's all going to be dependent upon what we receive and then the board's preferences, that we try and fit the budget in with what we receive and what preferences are. And those are things like just what we talked about.
Is your far right corner column, is that really 25, 26, or is that 24, 25, with the middle column being 25, 26, and then the far left being 26, 27?
No, those are the last, those are correct.
So there are two columns for 20, 25, 20, 26.
One is what we requested, one is what we received, and then
Yes.
just trying to show.
Okay.
Because usually the board asks about what we asked, what we received, and
I
then what we asked
didn't
again.
read that quite
Yeah.
correctly. Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Again, it's just a
I got it.
estimate or breakdown on
Yeah.
the screen of what typically the areas that the funding would be and how it would be budgeted.
Okay, I have it now, thank you.
And then finally, we have capital outlay. And in discussions, typically it's been $1 million. We've asked for additional $500,000. If you remember, we have the activity bus lease. There's 3 years left on that lease. So that's right under $300,000 that would come right off the top. And then in discussions with Chair and others, other projects based on priorities from the Dewberry Group study, with where our buildings are would be contingent upon the amount of funding we receive from the Board of Commissioners. You know, we've got two major buildings going on right now, and we're excited about those, but certainly capital outlay is one that's gonna be ongoing. And so, last but not least, mark your calendars, April 21st at 5:30 for the budget presentation. I don't know, who's first or second this year? Doesn't matter, we're gonna go either way. Questions? Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
dire.
Oh, I know.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, board members, we have heard our local current expense and capital outlay budget. Chair will entertain a motion if there's no further discussion.
I don't think it requires a motion.
It's under action.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I move that the 2026-2027 proposed budget as presented by the administration be approved for presentation.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Dr. Fitch, seconded by Mrs. Boyette, that the 2026-2027 local current expense and capital outlay budgets be approved. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, board members.
All right, next on our agenda, we have personnel recommendations.
I move that Wilson County Board of Education adopt the personnel report as amended.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Ms. Powell, seconded by Mrs. Boyette and Dr. Fitch, that the personnel recommendations get adopted as amended. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Brown.
I move that the Wilson County Board of Education elect Dr. Ben Williams as its next superintendent effective July 1st, 2026.
Second.
All right. It has been moved by Mr. Breen and seconded by Mr. Batts. If you don't mind, Mr. Breen, could you borrow that? Thank you. That the Wilkes County Board of Education elect Dr. Ben Williams as its next superintendent effective July 1st, 2026. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries with, and please show Dr. Fitch in dissent in the minutes. All right, is there any further business?
Mr. Chair, I move for adjournment.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Mr. Breen and seconded by Ms. Powell that we adjourn. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. We are now adjourned. Thank you all.
Dr. Williams? Dr. Williams, congratulations.